All right. What do you think, guys? Should I be an absolute psycho and try and finish this block tonight? I'll give you a hint. I won't be able to do it in 40 minutes or whatever time I've been doing these lately. But I'm kind of tired of looking at Merry and Pippin, so maybe I'm going to go for it. Maybe it'll be crazy tonight. Ah, there we go. Listening to my own playback caught me again. It's the only way I know if people are on the chat so I can respond to comments. And after the delay pedal fiasco I had in one of my episodes, I don't do it through my computer anymore. I just look at my phone over here. So, yeah, what's going on with you guys? Not a lot over here. Kind of a gray, rainy day. As you can see, I don't really pay attention to my own guidelines here. I should really, I should get, a custom-made U-gouge that's about a third of this size. I would love that. So I could do something similar to a wood engraving, but I've tried to. I have those kind of tools, but they do not work on linoleum. I have tried. Don't even bother. What I should really do is just work on bigger blocks, because the problem is that I do these things on a really small scale, and it limits the amount of detail I can do. Because if I'm not doing a wood engraving with those type of engraving tools, I just can't get that fine of a line with traditional woodcut tools like a U gouge or a V gouge. And I know that I could use my hongi toe, one of these. Where is that sucker? It's almost blasphemous to use one of these on a piece of linoleum, but let's be blasphemous. Let's see. Look at that. Yeah, you can get a fine line with that, but it's twice as much work because you have to go to one side and then you have to go to the other. Ooh, but look at that. What a fine line that makes. But I'm a lazy man, and I don't want to do twice as much work. I can do one pass with a U-gouge, and there you go, it's done. But yeah, I mean, it's far more precise to use a knife. And maybe I will. Maybe I'll get some discipline one of these days. I lack discipline. I'm getting better with age, but I've always lacked discipline. I wasn't much of a sports playing guy. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I wasn't much of a sports playing guy. The guy who's ranting in his late 30s, carving a piece of linoleum, wasn't much of a sports guy. Yeah, that's right. No, I have always been an art nerd, and that's okay. People have always accepted me for that. I never really had problems with people. People always, and I went to a small town rural school. It was, thinking back on it, it was really an idyllic time to go to school in a place called Minerva, Ohio. Yeah, it was a very, very nice place to grow up. It was very much small town Americana. And yeah, I was the art guy, and my mom was the local private art teacher. So it was just like, oh yeah, well, they're the art family. And my dad was also a teacher, and he's a classical musician, and he also taught drums occasionally to people. So it's like, oh, those are the artsy people. So, yeah, I just always grew up with that mentality that, and I think sports are cool. I think physical fitness is a good thing. I think being able to take care of your body is a good thing. And I'm not saying that like I'm a total couch potato or anything. I just, most of my life has been focused on this pursuit. And not so much, carving on linoleum per se, but I've always been more interested in creating things, creating works of art, whether it be visual or, writing or, music. Because, I don't know, something about sports, I was always just like, what's the point? Because even if you're really good, if you're not going to become a professional athlete, it's just like, you won't be able to, you're going to get old and your body's not going to be able to keep up. And, look at LeBron James, Akron's own LeBron James. He's 41 and he's defying all the expectations. But I read something recently where they asked him what's different now, and he's like, "What's different? I'm old now. That's what's different." So even LeBron, arguably I don't think arguably. I mean, he is the greatest basketball player, at least maybe athlete of his generation. Arguably the greatest basketball player to have ever lived, depending on what statistics you care about. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's gonna have to stop playing basketball, and he spent his entire life being the best at it. And okay, maybe he'll coach, maybe he'll still be involved in some capacity, but that's it. That's it. Football players, people who are in fighting, people who take more abuse on their body, that's it, man. You get to a certain age, and no matter how much you keep up with it, you gotta hang up the gloves. Gotta hang up the jersey. And I guess you could say I'm more pragmatic in that way. I always was like, well, I could get really good at drawing. I could get really good at playing an instrument. And, I'm not saying that I am good at either of those things, but I made that calculation. I could get really good at these things. And the thing is about those things, barring some sort of real impediment, you could do those things for the rest of your life. And you could get better at it. You're not going to be a better football player when you're 60 than you were when you were 40. Well, I don't even know what I'm talking about here. You're not going to become a better football player at 40 than you were at 20. Ask Tom Brady. I mean, even him, as great as he was. And I'm citing the people who are the best at their respective fields. But you could be the GOAT in the arts much later in life. Because for me, I know I'm better than I was when I was 20. There's no doubt about it. Does that mean that I am at my peak potential now? Absolutely not. I know that next year I'm going to be better than I was this year. And that gives me a lot of hope. I like art for that reason. I like knowing that I can keep going. I can keep going and getting better and learning and making things that look better than when I was in my peak physical prime. What do they say? There's two types of intelligences. There's the intelligence you have when you're young, the creative intelligence that I guess is supposed to max out at 30. That's why rock stars do all their best music in their 20s, because they're good enough to have learned their instruments, but they're young enough to still have that creativity. Still have those neural pathways that haven't closed up yet. That, when you get older, I think you put up mental barriers that say, no, you can't do that. That's not possible, because you're used to what's been done in the past. And after you hit 30, roughly, then you have, I think it's called crystalline knowledge. And even though you're not as open-minded to new possibilities, things that have never been done before, you've amassed a lot of information that you can call upon. And that can come in handy too. And if you're in a pursuit that doesn't require, physical prowess, I think you have more longevity. This is all my excuse for saying why I sucked at sports, really. I never really tried. That's the truth. I should have. And this all goes back to my original point that I was making, that I lack discipline. And I do not think you can develop true discipline without putting your body on the line. I think that you have to be into something that hurts physically. And I never really did that. I played golf, and I did it poorly. But I enjoyed it. That's the thing, I enjoyed it. It was a leisurely activity. My golfing buddy Joey Nigro and I would just walk around, Big Dogs, Edgewater, the very not so much Great Trail, though that's the most beautiful course. It was the most beautiful course. None of these places are even open anymore. It's so sad to see golf courses closing. The point that I'm trying to make is that I enjoyed it too much. I wasn't in pain, so I didn't really challenge myself. It was all very leisurely, and you're not going to develop discipline in that way. You have to struggle. And I don't know what it is. The mental struggle, I just don't think works unless you have the physical struggle too. That's why, many faiths embrace the idea of fasting, because fasting is a physical struggle as well as a mental struggle. That's how you achieve true discipline, both the physical and the mental combined. So, the question is, do I have the fortitude to do this entire block tonight? Do I have the discipline? And I think not. Because, as I've probably said in previous iterations of this, I lack the motivation. I currently have 0 people watching me right now. I'm literally speaking into the abyss right now. So what is my motivation for continuing this print tonight? Just for my own thrill of seeing a completed block. I mean, there's some thrill in that, I suppose. I can tell you one thing. I'm going to be rethinking doing these live videos. I don't think 1,000 subscribers is enough. I once thought it was. I thought, 1,000 subscribers would be enough to make it worth my while. But that does not seem to be the case. Because there's just nobody here. Nobody here. So if nobody's here to watch, then I might as well do it at my own pace. Not worry about speaking into the camera, speaking into the microphone while I'm carving this thing. It would be much easier to not. It'd be much easier to listen to a podcast. I was listening to a podcast about World War I. It was really interesting. But instead, I have to listen to my own voice rambling about the past, rambling about discipline, in my attempt to try and be entertaining while I'm doing this, because I don't know that it's enough to just carve. I don't know it's enough to just hear the scraping of the U-gouge, is it? I mean, maybe it is. Maybe there's some ASMR fanatics who would get a thrill out of that, but I'm not that kind of content creator, as it were. I'm a chatty person, so even if I would literally have to turn the mic off, because I'd be talking to myself. This is literally the first time nobody has been on whatsoever. I think YouTube got the hint. They're like, aha. You know, he continues to do these nightly live streams, and we need to squelch this. We need to suppress this, because this is bad programming. Bad programming. So I'll make an edited video of this. Maybe I'll just not. Maybe I'll just not do any of this stuff. I mean, why am I carving this? To make a poster? Maybe. I spent 3 months making a guitarist poster. And now it is done. And I have my videos. And it was a fun ride. And I have a completed poster. And it's up. But at the end of the day, nobody cares. That's the truth. Nobody cares. I tell myself that, this is for, I'm going to make some extra money on the side, or I'm going to do this or that. But the truth is, I'm just killing time because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I can't be sitting around watching whatever the newest bullshit is on Netflix. I can't do it. I gotta do something. And now you all have to suffer along with me and listen to me. Well, actually, none of you do, because none of you are. But someday, someone might hear this odd manifesto that I would be much better off leaving my microphone off for and just listening to my World War I podcast instead. But this is a real rant tonight. This is what happens. This is what happens when I'm having to carve a block that's just a disaster, as I said last night. All of the... I know what it was. I was blaming the acrylic matte medium. I didn't put a thick enough layer on. That is not the case. I figured out what it was. I didn't put a thick enough layer of the pigment on. You need to put a thicker layer of the acrylic paint or whatever the color is you're using, because that's why it's peeling off. And I didn't wait for it to dry enough. And I've warned people of that. I even have a video where I explain how to transfer a drawing to a wood block or a linoleum block, and I said, you gotta wait for the ink to dry. I never take my own advice. We're at 21 minutes, folks. 21 minutes. I've been rambling like a lunatic. This is my personal therapy session. What do you think? Shall I let the U-gouge do the talking and let it click and let it, do ASMR kind of stuff? No. That is terrible. Absolutely terrible. This block is going to be a total redo. A total redo. This is just awful. All because I didn't put a thick enough layer of pigment on. Just a simple act of not prepping the block enough creates disastrous results later. Every step matters, even when it's not the glamorous step. I almost don't even want to carve Pippin. I want to ink Mary first and see how disastrous this is before I waste any more time. I might have to retransfer it. An absolute disaster this has been. I really should get a chat bot to keep me company. That's what AI is good for. For losers who have no friends, such as myself. Oh, I have friends. I just don't have them tonight in the chat, I guess. Yeah, what about that? What about just finishing Mary? And I might even print it live. I mean, what the hell? Why not? No one's watching anyway. Let's get crazy. Not much left now. You can see what a disaster this truly is. Because you guys can't even see the full extent of how bad this is, but I can. I can. There's so many places that have peeled that I don't even know what's carved and what's not. It's going to look terrible. It's going to be a total disaster. Are you kidding me? I don't even know if I'm live right now. I might not be. Yeah, maybe I am. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. What do you think? Should I put on some medieval music or something just to help with the maddening silence? Yeah, this is just a total disaster. A real craptacular here. Yeah, I'm just like, I just want to carve this thing and just get it over with at this point. This is just so bad. You may be asking, will I leave this video up? This ranting and raving video? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Because no one will watch it anyway, so this is my own personal diary. Isn't that funny? In movies back when I was a kid, it was like a big scandal, you know, people would have their diaries, and it was like the worst thing in the world for a person to have their diary stolen and read. Now, people tell everyone every thought that's on their mind, their deepest, darkest secrets, for millions of people to view. What's that about? How did that change? I think we've just become a shameless culture, maybe. Oh boy. Can't tell you how discouraging it is when the block doesn't transfer right. And you can't even see what you're carving. It's just terrible. It makes this job so much more difficult than it needs to be. That's why I think for the next block, I'm not transferring anything. I'm drawing right on the block. That's what I'm doing. No fuss, no muss. Gonna draw it right on the block. None of this glue, none of this wiping. If you don't erase, then why not? You know, some people spend a lot of time on their drawings. Some people, try and get it just right. And they work and work and work. They work and work and work to try and perfect it. Not me. Not me. I draw it, and it's done. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying I don't have the patience. Discipline. Discipline. Like we were talking about earlier. Or like I was talking about to myself earlier. Discipline. I lack it. I lack it. I don't want to use a pencil. I don't want to erase. I don't want to start slow and, do a draft. Nope. Let's do it the first time and get it over with. And if it's not good, who cares? Let's make it, and then we'll do it right the next time. And if we don't, who cares? We'll do it right the next time after that. Maybe there is no right, Maybe there is no right at all. But it's going to be better than the last time, and you know what? That's good enough for me. That's what I'm into. I'm into getting things out there. I don't really care about perfection. I want to make something, and I want to get it out there as quickly as possible. That's why live videos are so appealing. Editing stuff? Please. Please. I've done that. I've edited videos, and it's just a disaster. Doesn't make that much of a difference anyway. Let's just do it live. Like Bill O'Reilly said, do it live. Because it really doesn't matter anyway. It's not going to make anything that much better. To edit it, perfect it, use my eraser. Gotta take all the flaws out. Nope. What you see is what you get. This one sucks. Okay. Next one will be better. That's how you have to do it, folks. If you're constantly second-guessing yourself, guess what? You're always going to be sitting on the sidelines. Always. Can't do it. You got to put yourself out there. And you can't be consumed with what other people think of you. This is YouTube. People are going to say you suck. Though, I will say that people have been pretty nice to me. I don't think I deserve it. I can't wait to get big enough where people tell me I suck. That'll be great. That'll be a real accomplishment when people say, you suck. And I'll go, I've made it. Excellent. No, you got to put yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, then life's not worth living. You got to do it. You got to do it. Nothing's worse than not knowing. Not knowing, saying I should have taken my shot. And that's what this is. This is me saying, could I be better at doing relief printmaking? Why, yes. Yes, I could. Am I going to wait to get better before I start releasing videos? Nope. Nope. How long am I going to have to wait? Wait till I'm 40, 50, 60? Oh, good. The world's over. Nuclear apocalypse. Oh, man. If only I would have taken my shot. Nope. You guys get to watch me and all my growing pains. Right now. You get to watch me do a crappy transfer on this block where everything's peeling away. And it'll be a fun little thing. It'll be a fun little thing. Fun little thing for later. You know, that's what they say about YouTube videos. They always say that it's like, oh, don't delete anything. You know, it's a fun little artifact for later so people can see how bad you used to be. It's like, was it bad? Or was it better? You know, I've been watching people for a lot of years, a lot of creators. And yeah, they got better cameras, they got better microphones, they got better editors. I don't know that it's better. Some of my favorite podcasts have gotten bigger than ever. Bigger than ever. Quality's suffered. I don't know if it's just because they know they don't have to anymore. They're phoning it in. Or, you know, people are in their ear telling them, oh, you should do this instead. This is what the algorithm dictates you should do. Well, I liked it when they didn't have a clue. That was way better. Way better. It's sad to see people get big. You know, Howard Stern used to be one of my favorite entertainers in the world. I had Sirius XM in my car only to exclusively listen to him. Okay, sure. Maybe I'd listen to Lithium, the Lithium channel, or Liquid Metal. If I was feeling really saucy, maybe The Joint, if you guys know what that is. So yeah, classic vinyl, whatever. But I was listening to Howard Stern, and I'd get made fun of for it. You know, it's like, oh my God, Howard Stern again? Yes, Howard Stern, always Howard Stern, because he was amazing. And to see greatness fall, to see, you know, a pure talent corrupted by I don't even know what. I don't know what got into him. You know, people say it was this Marcy, this manager of his that said, "Oh, you want to have A-listers on? You gotta be PC. Gotta be careful what you say. You know, be edgy, but only edgy in the approved way." And okay, sure, you got all these. I don't know, I don't even know if Brad Pitt went on. You know, whoever the A-listers are these days, I don't know. I don't watch movies. Or at least I don't watch movies that are like current. My point is that sometimes bigger is not better. Actually, bigger is almost never better. So maybe I'll long for these days. Long for these days of having 1,000 subscribers. Maybe I'm delusional enough to think that this will be the good old days. The good old days where no one was watching me, as if, you know, in the future things will be different. But guess what, folks? I'm going to be carving anyway. I'm going to be drawing anyway. So why stop? Why stop? Why not just put the stupid camera on? I'm going to be doing this anyway. And that should be your attitude. Do what you love. Do what you love. And Just put yourself out there. Are you going to be embarrassed? Yeah, I'm constantly embarrassed. I constantly go, why did I do that? That was so humiliating. And I'm sure this ranting and raving video is going to be something that I look back on and go, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say those ridiculous things? But this is a time capsule. This is a diary entry that 8 billion people could listen to. Because that's what the world has become. Everything's an open book. Nobody has any shame, including me. Including me. Is it better to not have shame? I don't know. I don't know that having... I mean, shame's good to a certain extent, but not if it keeps people miserable. Like, oh, you know, I can't do that. I'll never do that. I'd rather not be embarrassed. It's not good. It's not good. That's how, you know, to quote Pink Floyd, you know, quiet desperation. It's not what you want. That's not what life's supposed to be about. Then again, is life supposed to be about carving a linoleum block at 9:30 on a Wednesday on YouTube? I don't know about that. Maybe not. Yeah, this is garbage. Pure garbage, folks. You can see that I'm really just phoning it in at this point. I'm just like do. I don't care about the lines. Who cares about the lines? Not me. Do. I'm the one who drew the lines anyway, so you know they're not right. Do. I don't care. I don't care. I just want to print this thing so I can see how bad it is, so I can go back and rework it. Because I can't tell. I can't tell where anything is because I did such a bad job pasting it. So, I'm not even going to turn off this live stream, folks. I'm going to go down into the basement. I'm going to grab my roller. I'm going to grab my ink. And you're going to stare at this video for 5 minutes. Well, I mean, it doesn't take me 5 minutes to go down to the basement, but you get the idea. There's just going to be silence. I should get a little picture of an Indian head. You know, like old TV stations used to have when the programming was disrupted. I should get one of those. That'd be funny. I bet a picture of an old Indian head would get more views than what I'm getting right now. I should try that. I should just do a live stream of one of those old... Oh, you know what? I bet that, you know, there's just crazy things, you know, people have just live streams of like a fireplace or something, you know, why not? It's a lot less work than what I'm doing. Just light a fire and put a camera in front of that and call that a live stream. I mean, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. All right. I'll give this a little bottom of his cloak here. Few scrapes of the old U-gouge. But after that, I'm just like, I'm so over this. So over this. I can't. I was really happy with the drawing, too. Well, not really happy. I mean, it wasn't that great. But it was good enough. I thought it was better than the other two. Again, better than it was. Better than it was. That is the goal. That is the goal. Better than the last one. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just needs to be better than the last one. That's all I'm trying to do here. And I thought these drawings were better than the last ones. But man, you know what wasn't better than the last one? The transfer. The transfer was not better than the last one. because I'm just in a rush. I'm in a rush. Gotta get the next print out. Gotta get the next video out. So let's not wait for this block to dry with the red pigment. Let's do the transfer right now, even when it's not ready. That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. I'm just gonna trace around. I'm not even going to get good paper. I'm just going to get printer paper. We're going to do this live. Do it live. Do it live. What do you think? Yeah. Boy, this looks insane. Okay. To show you how little I care at this point. Big gun. Big gun right here. And if I carve straight through this thing, then I'm going to say it wasn't meant to be. My hand might slip right into my other hand. That'd make for some entertaining content, wouldn't it? I'll cut that up and make that a short, I can tell you that. You betcha. Not that I'm going to do it on purpose. I'm not a psycho. Well, I mean, I sound like a psycho tonight, but, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. What do you think, Mary? Are you going to look like I drew you? Or are you going to just be a complete disaster? Oh, I don't know, dog. Yep, me neither. Ranting and raving. That's what I should call this episode. Ranting and raving. Yeah, no Pippin tonight. Pippin, maybe never. Maybe never. Depending on how this one looks. Yeah, man. Folks, if you can, just draw on the block. Draw directly on the block. This whole idea that you have to draw something in a sketchbook. You know, sketchbooks are a waste of time, too. I'm just going to say that. People love sketchbooks. Just draw it. Just draw it on whatever you can find. A piece of cardboard, piece of scrap paper. Just get the idea out. Just get it out. That's why there's paper clips. Just get it together. You don't need a moleskin notebook. You don't need fancy stuff. Just get. I used to draw on napkins. I used to go to restaurants and draw on placemats and napkins. You don't need a sketchbook. This idea that I gotta transfer something from a sketchbook is ludicrous. I'm just gonna draw on the block. I'm just gonna draw on the block. If anyone say, why didn't you draw that on a notebook first? I'll say, because I don't have time. I don't have time or the care to do it. Can't even see what I'm doing, can you? There we go. Put a nice ding in this table. You can see I already have. Yeah. Actually, that's not from carving at all. That is one of my many other ridiculous hobbies. I build guitars every once in a while, and I was trying to put a different neck on a different guitar that didn't belong on there, and the bolts, the head of the bolts didn't really fit into the back of the neck pocket of this Telecaster I was working on, and just scratched the hell out of my desk. Couldn't believe it. You know, it's so funny. I do this every night, and I never scratched the desk with one of these. No, it was a bolt on the back of a guitar. Couldn't believe it. But that's just how it goes sometimes, folks. And where's that guitar, you might ask? It's in my basement. Not being played. After all that work, just sitting there. But I have the memory. I have the memory of the scratches. You know, what do you think? I think I'm gonna go back to my small U gouge here. Gonna trace around the foot a little. Nah, I'm not gonna. Wait, maybe I will. Right here. Yeah. I can't wait to be done with this. This is not a pleasant project. The other two were much more pleasant than this one. This one is not pleasant. When you can't see what you're carving, it's just the least pleasant thing in the world. Just feel like you're fighting blind. Yeah, everything's tearing. All right. Almost done. Gonna get the ink here as soon as I'm done carving around his hair. And I don't know, I might need to sharpen my tool. That might be part of the problem too. My tool might just be dull. Well, I feel like my brain is pretty dull right now, so it matches my brain. That's the problem with having to do this at the end of the day. The end of the day when all my mental capacity is spent. Why don't you do this during the day, Doug? Because I'm not a professional artist. And if I did a live stream in the middle of the day, people might notice. People I don't want to notice. That's when people will start watching the live stream, when I do it in the middle of the day. Except it's going to be all the people I don't want to watch the live stream. All right. Yeah. This is... if this is anything that's not a complete cat turd, I'll be thrilled. Because, I mean, I really have, like, zero expectations for this as it stands currently. Because I can't see a darn thing. I can't see it. I just can't. Alright. Alright, old merry old boy. If anyone out there is watching, I'm going to get my ink and my roller, and I'll be right back in 2 shakes of a lamb's leg, or whatever the hell Uma Thurman said in Pulp Fiction. Just give me 1 second. All right, folks, here we go. As promised. Got ink on my desk, of course. Yeah, that doesn't look very good. Looks pretty amateurish, as a matter of fact. I don't even need to print it. I can just tell by looking at it. Yeah. At least I can actually see now. Yeah. Well, hey, just for laughs. Here's a piece of computer paper. Here's my old bone folder. Let's see how bad this is, huh? Again, You don't need fancy stuff. This is computer paper and a bone folder. You don't need a press. You don't need washi. You don't need any of that stuff. All right. Cha-cha-cha. Yeah. That's what it is. You know, I actually thought it would look a lot more terrible than this. So there's Master Mary of Bushwick, or where's he from? East of the Hollows, near the old forest. Yeah. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good. This does not look anything like I drew it, because I couldn't see what I was carving. But it does look pretty darn medieval, I will say that, so maybe that's the point. What do you think? Should I keep carving? Should I carve Pippin? Well, we're at an hour and 2 minutes to be exact. So I think you got a little bit more than you bargained for tonight, folks. I even did a printing. So we're going to leave it at that. If you don't see me tomorrow, it's because I quit relief printmaking forever, and I am living in Haiti now, and I'm going under the pseudonym Barbecue Junior. Isn't he in the U.S. right now, Barbecue? Isn't he negotiating something with us? So maybe Haiti needs a new dictator, and I know just the person for the job. Good night.